Right, so we're working in my area today in Coundon in Coventry on this Viessmann 050 combi boiler. So this is one for all the Viessmann haters out there. There was nothing wrong with this boiler. It didn't have a fault code, didn't break down, nothing at all. It does have the old rubber hoses in them, but the only reason we found what we found is because the customers are now going to rent this property and wanted a gas safety certificate. So this was its first service ever, and the boiler is, I think, 12, 13 years old. So I've decided to talk over this one. I absolutely hate talking over video, but I was really really boring myself even before I made this video. But I also had a cold as well. So here you can see these are the parts that we had for the boiler. We've got the pressure gauge. The system is already drained and it's showing that there is pressure in the system, so we know that needs to be changed. Also, you don't need to screw the flues for Viessmann, guys. That is a eye hole to see, so you can see the flues marry up. So Viessmann's and Ideal boilers are both boilers that you don't need to do. So please stop screwing them. You don't need to screw them at all. So let's get this boiler opened up and I'll show you inside. So a thing that I always rave about, and I wish every boiler did it, but we've got I call it a wax seal. It's not a wax seal, it's paint, but it reminds me of a scroll in medieval times that would have a wax seal on it, and once that was broken, you would know that somebody has read your scroll or read your letter, I guess. We're not going to change the expansion vessel on this one, but we are going to change the rubber hoses. These are they look quite inflamed, I guess is the word I'm looking for whilst I'm talking over this. We're not going to change the plate to plate as well, because that was just going to push the price over with this boiler. And again, they're renting this property. It's been great for them, and again, it's just kept on going. So we've got the plate outside at the moment. We've got it in this bucket. So we have used these power crystals, of course they are, that's what it was called. With boiling water from the kettle, we've got that hissing away in there now, and I'm kind of holding my breath, which is the reason why I've talked over this, because I was just you just couldn't really understand what I was on about. But annoyingly now, guys, we can't use acid, guys and girls. We can't use acid. We can't use anything really to clean these plates anymore. My merchants won't sell anything. Before, you used to have to take a picture. Idea used to have to have an account, but now you can't use anything. So if anyone could tell me what they're using, because I used to have a load of acid that I bought from a builder's merchants that was closing down. That's all gone. So now I can only replace them. So while that's working outside, we are back up with the boiler now. So as you can see, they've got the burner out, and the heat pads have absolutely perished on this. So in my experience, the only thing that I could think of is the condensation trap was blocked because it's never been serviced, and it is filled at the boiler. And really, they were moments away from having a breakdown on this boiler. But again, it's kept on going. How long it's been like this for, don't know. But again, we're here today to give it we're going to take the burner out. We're going to leave the expansion vessel in, which I've just said. But we're taking the burner out. We're going to clean the burner. We're changing the pressure gauge. We're changing the heat pads. We're putting new electrodes in and changing the hoses as well. So let's crack on with this. And what I always love as well is you'll see how clean Viessmann's get when we come back to them. So straight outside again, so we've got the boiler that's been stripped down. We've really put that bit together, but what I want to show you is how good this stuff was when we would clean it. So if this was acid, I wouldn't be able to handle this. Obviously I'd have to use gloves or whatever, but you can see the black that comes out of these plates. And so the reason for why we would do this is normally hot water wouldn't get as hot anymore. Your showers would take longer to heat up. Normally hot water is what people show it on, because people just get used to waiting longer and longer for their heating to work. But the real indicator whether you needed to have this done was your hot water just wouldn't be as hot as what it would be used to be. And again, you can see how filthy that is. So those crystals are broken down, all that black sludge, magnetite, rust, whatever people want to call it. But it's done its job. It's cleaned out that plate. Sadly, we can't use stuff anymore, or I don't know what we can use. So we've got the boiler all back together and cleaned. You can see how lovely and spotless Viessmann's come up. Another Viessmann guy that I know, I love what he said to me. Viessmann's the only boiler that you can do open heart surgery on, and they'll come back to life and they will last you another 10 plus years. As in, you change the hoses and everything, and they just carry on working. That's what we've done. We've changed all the bits, and really, that's it. So here we go. It's all back together. I didn't show the magnetic filter. That was actually clean as well. So, but they have done some other work throughout the property. It's been drained down and filled up multiple times. They had new radiators and so on. But anyway, that is it for this one, guys. This is all the rubbish that's or bits that you need to do this job. It did take me about half a day. I think we're about 1 o'clock. I think I'll show you my watch in a moment as well. But it is quite hard work. It's quite grueling. The heat exchangers can be really heavy on these boilers to do, especially if you're leaning over a cupboard or something like that. But thankfully, this one was in a loft. It was nice and easy, or easier than most. So that's it. See you on the next one. Okay, so we've jumped ahead a bit on this video now. Unfortunately, I've decided to do a talk over because I was, again, really even boring myself. It was almost like an episode of trying not to say but as you can see, I'm showing that the pipes have been changed now. You can squeeze these with ease. Do not squeeze rubber hoses. If you go to a boiler or a Viessmann boiler that has rubber hoses, you will potentially completely just block up the system and ruin the pump and everything by squeezing those rubber hoses. So do not do that, guys. So as you can see, the new heat pads have been changed. All the old bits and rubbish are all kind of around me. So we've changed rubber hoses, heat pads, electrodes. I'm trying to think of what else we were changing on this boiler. I know we need to do the pressure gauge. I'm sure there was something else, but all I'm showing you now is that the heat exchanger has to come out because that return rubber hose goes to the back of the heat exchanger there. So that's it's a long job that you have to do. If you're going to do this job, be prepared to give yourself at least half a day, because it can take a long time to do, especially depending on where the boiler is. Thankfully, I was sat on a chair in front of this boiler, so it wasn't that bad, even though it wasn't a loft. But sometimes you get them where you're leaning across some kitchens and so on, and these heat exchangers can be very heavy, especially when you're trying to line it all up with the flue and everything else that and also the fixing bolts to go back on.